Aquarius, welcome back to Steampunk Psyche. If you are a returning subscriber, I love you. I appreciate you. If you're brand new to the channel or just cross-watching, I'm JT. We're going to do a general reading, and like I always say, hey, use your intuition. Sometimes these cards, they line out with our day-to-day grind, and sometimes they do not, okay? And do keep in mind that I always place haiku poems right before your reading starts, all right? I just feel like it's a really cool transition into your reading. Let me know what you think. Anyway, we're going to shuffle up, and we'll talk about your categories here, okay? Aquarius, I wish for you peace. I wish for you love, strength. I encourage meditation, concentration. So take a deep breath and kind of relax into the reading. Kind of ask yourself the questions that you want to know, and we'll see what energies want to come out, okay? All right, I've already pre-shuffled the cards, but for transparency's sake, I'll shuffle it up for you. We're going to talk about your present energy, crossing challenged, right off the bat, right on. We're going to talk about the foundation, recent past, possibilities, the near future. We're talking about the self. We're going to talk about the environment, hopes, fears, wishes, or worries, and the outcome and the direction. All right, Aquarius, give me just a second to check out these cards. And while I'm doing that, here are your brand new poems from Haiku Corner. I'll be right back. Okay, Aquarius, we start off your reading with the Judgment, and it's followed by the Moon card in your challenge. For some of you, this is going to resonate as a twin flame journey. Some of you are going to resonate as just this high-powered connection, or this connection you cannot quite explain. I'm going to use the terms the divine masculine, divine feminine kind of loosely here, because you could be a masculine in your feminine, okay, or you could be the feminine in the masculine, okay. And so this dynamic that I'm talking about, if you've ever experienced a twin flame situation, it's not the easiest in the world. Even just a high-powered soulmate connection, or somebody that you really are attracted to, right? And so this dynamic has some teeth. It has some bite. It's got some moments of like, what the F is going on, right? Anyway, we're going to talk about this. And if you're down for it and interested, Aquarius, it's your reading. Judgment. This is all about that runner chaser dynamic, is what I picked up on, okay? It's like, this is your intuition. It's like way louder than this person's silence, okay? I feel like this could be the divine masculine waking up. It doesn't have to be that situation, but what I'm getting at is that it's not the gentle kind of awakening, okay? It's the kind that, I'm just going to go ahead and say the gender specific here, but it's a kind that shakes a man out of like denial, okay? I'm replaying all of the misunderstanding here. You know what I mean? I'm realizing that maybe I projected pressure onto you. Okay, if you're the divine feminine, then you'll resonate with that. But I'm comparing you to, let's say, for instance, that false twin flame, and I'm seeing the difference here with like a very painful type of clarity. You know what I mean? I'm rereading all of these messages that, or maybe, a lot of people talk about that the messages that sent, but what about the ones that weren't sent? What about the ones that, the masculine wanted to send, but he didn't? Okay, it's the rehearsal over and over. This is somebody, I don't know, maybe seeing synchronicity like initials, or every time the birthday comes up, it's just, I don't know, maybe just, it's all about emotional safety, you know, to the chaos of the karmic, right? Compares that, it's feeling embarrassed for misjudging you, stalking the social media, right? Because there's confusion, right? It's overwhelmed, waking up. Okay, that judgment card, it's not allowing anybody to run anymore. Okay, so it's more like just a review. It's kind of like a review of what's taking place. Okay, all right, we're going to talk about the challenge card. Aquarius, this is it's no joke, right? It's the dreams. It's trusting your instincts here, not your fears. This is like I said, take this with a grain of glitter. Okay, what I'm trying to get at is his biggest challenge is that he doesn't trust himself. We're talking about a person that kind of fears repeating like karmic cycles again with you. He fears the intensity of what he feels. Okay, this is he thinks you want more than you actually do, but he fears you're going to reject him if he comes back. Okay, he fears, I don't know, maybe this karmic will return. Where he fears emotional intimacy, something. It's like all of these things all at once. Okay, and it's not like you can just snap your fingers and move away from this. This is, losing control. He fears that you've replaced him. The connection is too good to be true. All of these questions are hitting at one time. But most of all, I feel like it's like I fear, or I'll be speaking on that behalf, but it's like I fear of being right about you, which scares the hell out of me even more. Okay. It's definitely avoidant energy when they're scared, right? And it's also intuitive when it's calm. But this moon card is coming out to shine the light on the dark side, the shadow work, the shadow aspect. So like I said, a lot of you understand what this is all about. You're in this situation, or you've been in this situation, you know what I mean? We could be dealing with Pisces as well. We don't have to be dealing with Pisces, but maybe a Pisces is in your timeline here. Okay, some of you, it's deja vu, it's dreaming, but this is feeling the truth of this situation. Okay, we're going to talk about this foundation. We got the Four of Pentacles. Okay, he shut down. He shut down to basically, he's looking for proof. He's reviewing the past in this card. He shut down to protect himself, but he held back because, I don't know, he thought, you wanted more than what he could give, or it's all of the misinterpretation, of your openness, you know, um, maybe seeing that as like expectation or something, it's rereading your last conversation, and maybe excuse me, apologize. Rereading that last conversation, and maybe he sees something a little bit different in that conversation. Okay, it's, I can't stop looking at your old photos or your messages. I'm keeping things locked up inside. And at the same time, I'm fear losing you permanently. He's got nobody else on his mind. He's not doing the dating thing because no one compares to you in this situation. All right, he's replaying the misunderstanding in his head. And I don't know, maybe he realizes he overacted. Or he realizes that he projected his fears onto you. You know what I mean? So it's got that closed off, protective, emotionally guarded kind of a energy, but he definitely feels this shift. Okay, we're going to talk about the recent past. Okay, and we got this Four of Wands. Four of Wands energy here. Okay, this is, I don't know. This is the moment he felt the future with you. Okay, the moment that scared him the most. This is the moment that triggered that retreat in him. Okay, that this conversations, or the conversation is the one that said this is the future timeline. And so he broke through that, a moment of like emotional intimacy, and it felt really real here. Okay, this could have looked like a date or a meeting, that kind of felt like home for some of you. A moment where he saw you as the one, like a near reunion energy that just definitely overwhelmed him here, and he panicked. Okay, it was a moment where he felt safe, and he panicked. A moment where he felt seen, and he ran. The moment where I can imagine a proposal here, a moment where there's like this destiny that's involved. Okay, so it's definitely got masculine energy. It's awestruck, overwhelmed, and very unprepared. Okay, I don't know. He just felt the future in this card, right? So, all right, we're gonna look at the possibilities here, and we got this Five of Cups. All right, Aquarius. For some of you, could be dreaming about elevators right now, staircases, winding, circling paths. You know that dream where you feel like your feet are tied, you're running your ass off, but you're just like going nowhere. Okay, it's the emotional ups and downs. That is the dreams that he's having. Okay, it's like he's cycling through all the regret. Okay, how he handled things, how he pulled back, misreading you, choosing fear. I want to apologize, but I don't know. He realizes he hurt you, right? And so in doing so, he's hurt himself. So it's replaying that misunderstanding. I wish I could have communicated, instead of pulling back. It's just an over. I want to fix this, but I feel such an emotional distance now, and I'm not sure how you feel. So it's got regretful, reflective, kind of a humbling energy in this card. All right, and I feel like this is like a time frame of like 3 to 6 weeks here. Okay, something about this is a very significant date. I'm not sure who that may be for, but there may be a date in there, or a time frame around 3 to 6 weeks for somebody here. We're going to look at the near future, though. In the near future, we've got that Two of Swords, and this is what tells me, it's the decision point. It's the decision point for both of you, especially in that runner chaser kind of a mentality. It brings you to that. It puts you in silence, and then it's like, it's time to face the truth here. It's you know, I'm asking my friends for advice. You could be asking friends for advice. He wonders if you're open to hearing him out. I'm like I said, once again, I'm about to make a decision, but I'm afraid I'm going to choose wrong here. I fear choosing right. I know I can't avoid this forever. I'm checking your profile multiple times a day. He's just definitely at that decision point. Do I stay silent here, or do I just face the truth right up, right? So it's kind of got that frozen between the fear and desire here. All right. All right. We're going to talk about the self here. And this is where the Lovers comes in. This is, it's the real versus the false twin flame moment. He sees the difference now. He realizes that, maybe perhaps he's in another relationship or something like that. And he understands that the karmic was a lesson. That's why this was so explosive to him. He realizes that you are the truth, and so he feels that soul tie, the emotional pull. He's got the connection throughout his whole body here. He feels that runner chaser flip. He feels the desire to choose you, the need to explain himself, it's that awakening, it's that understanding. It's choosing love over the fear in this card. Okay. We could be talking about Gemini energy here. We don't have to be, but you could be dealing with Gemini as well. Okay. But for some of you, I want you to get on the internet and find out when the next moon phase is, because like I said, there is an energy in this that I feel like the clarity around this situation, as soon as the next moon phase shift comes in, I feel like you're about to know the answer here. There's something coming through for you. All right. We're going to talk about the environment, and we've got the Page of Cups. And this is why I'm saying this. The Page of Cups is it's a small message, but it's going to be soft, tentative. It's like testing the waters again. Hey, can we talk? I've been thinking about you, and I'm sorry for how things ended. This could look like, the way he reacts to one of your posts or something like that. Maybe sending something a little light, to see if you're open, right? It's kind of like that indirect apology, hinting maybe at that misunderstanding, but it's trying to reconnect without any kind of pressure, and so for that masculine energy, it's gonna look soft, it's gonna look vulnerable, and it's gonna look, for some a little cautious, right? But I feel like when you are completely focused on something else entirely, that's when this person's about to reach out to you and explain, the things that you were needing to hear. Okay. We're going to talk about the hopes, fears, wishes, and worries, Aquarius. We've got the Eight of Pentacles here. That is the sudden chills. This is confirmation of alignment. He's preparing to put in the effort, right? You know, he wants to rebuild. He wants to fix it. He wants to earn your trust back. And so there is that kind of a fear that maybe you won't, maybe you won't hear him out. He wants to show the consistency, but he's definitely still thinking maybe you've moved on. Okay. But we do have that page, that says that, yeah, I want to take things slow. I fear losing you again, but I feel like you're about to hear that. He's about to come forward with that. Right. So, hey, I don't know if you're going to believe me or not, but I want to rebuild this. I want to start things over. Let's take a new approach on this. Okay. So it's definitely about the effort increasing here. Okay. Now, the outcome and the direction, you Three of Swords, it's not what you're thinking here. It's not heartbreak, not between you and him. This is the karmic break. Okay. It's that, the false twin flame cycle ending here. This is all about the misunderstanding that dissolves. Okay. And that emotional block, everything that we talked about. It's, this is I've cut ties with the karmic. I'm ending this traumatic loop. I'm facing all my fears. I'm admitting my mistakes to you. It's that secretive apology, choosing you, but truth, right, over the fear. Okay. And so that's that breaking of the runner pattern here. Okay. And it's definitely the release. It's the release of the past, right? I'm about to step into, definitely emotional honesty here. Okay. So breaking patterns and choosing truth. That's what this is about. Aquarius, he didn't run because he didn't care. He ran because, I don't know, this connection just hit him in a space that he was not aware of. Truly, it's like he projected that pressure onto you, that wasn't really there. And so with that judgment card in the very beginning, I'm saying to you, that is the clarity, and that moon, that's going to bring the truth, right? You had the other major arcana, the Lovers. That's all about the choice. He understands now. He thought maybe that was like this twin flame, false twin flame situation, but that Three of Swords is bringing out that karmic release, right? And so he's seeing the difference between it, right? The real connection. And so, yeah, he regretted how he handled things. He wants to fix it. He wants to rebuild. So, uh, really cool, Aquarius. I hope you got confirmation from this reading. I do. It's not easy. It's not a fun ride. Um, and it's very confusing on both sides, especially when you care about somebody and you're waiting for them to step up. You're waiting for them to come forward. And so we have a tendency to point our fingers and say, it's you, it's you. Well, externally it may look that way, okay? But when you're in the situation yourself and you're just coming to the realization, especially if you're in another relationship, right? It can be upending. It can really it tests you in ways because we become comfortable in relationships sometimes. But when we start to see those karmic patterns and those loops and those things over and over again, it's go time. It's decision time, right? With the Two of Swords. So anyway, Aquarius, I hope you got something from it. If you enjoyed the video, let me know. Give me a thumbs up, would you? If you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit that subscription button. I'll leave last week's video at the end of this one if you'd like to check it out. So anyway, Aquarius, I love you. I respect you. And thanks for showing up. All right. Bye.